and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. This is part 3 of my Toy Sheep series, and in this video we're going to finish up the background mural. If you want to follow along with acrylic or oils, check out part 1 in this series where I have a list of all the traditional materials that I use, including paint, canvases, and brushes. The app we're going to be using is Infinite Painter for Android. And here I'm finishing up the stars in the background. And if you watch my previous videos, then you know I was having some trouble with the stars. And one of my viewers said that they don't need to be perfect anyway. That just gives it a more whimsical look. So I think I'll stick with that and say that these are whimsical. But anyway, I'm using a really light yellow color for the stars here. And if you're following along traditionally, you can use white acrylic gesso with cadmium yellow light and just make a really light pale yellow for the stars here. And you can use probably your number 3 round brush for this, or your short script brush. And so here you see me just working on the stars, the star next to the sheep, the little star right there. And I do want the stars to be different sizes and shapes here, just to make it look like it's, well, look like the stars are distant or they're closer or whatever. But of course these are going to be like stage or theater stars. So you can also use the straight line tools that Infinite Painter has, and here I'm using the I think it may be called the Polyhedron Tool, but I'm not sure. Just it goes ahead and helps you do different segments of a line, and it's pretty handy because it does straight lines and helps you do different segments, and you hit the check mark each time that you are through with a line, and then it will start a new line there. And so it's a pretty handy tool. And if you're following along traditionally, you can use a small ruler, or just go ahead and get a star stencil with different sizes of stars would be the easiest. So I'm going ahead and working on it, the stars, and using the Leo brush here. I just want kind of a acrylic paint looking type of a brush here, and still working on the shape, trying to get it right. And it helps if you've drawn it incorrectly to just go ahead and erase the bottom drawing. And again, since we're working in digital, it helps to be on another layer because you don't want to mess up your purple background there. So definitely make any kind of difficult subject that you're working on a different layer when you're working digitally. And if you're working traditionally, try to just draw it out correctly first, because that will save you a lot of time and a lot of headache, as you can see. So I finally got this star looking pretty good, and I went ahead and went to the next one, and of course I didn't draw it out correctly, so I just erased it, because it's better to have a good foundation, a good drawing foundation first, and then you're able to just kind of fill it in easier. And so here I'm just kind of working on the shape of it again, and using the straight line tool from Infinite Painter. You can use either just use the straight line tool, or you can use the other one that I was using, the Polyhedron Tool, or I'm not exactly sure if that's the correct name for it. But so anyway, I'm trying to get the stars right here, and just kind of working with the lines, trying to get it right, trying to remember how to do these, and just trying to make a straight line with them and make it look feasible. And as I said, my viewer told me that it looks whimsical, so that's good because it does look whimsical. But anyway, you just have to go ahead and practice and just like any other thing, you have to practice the stars and just make them look better that way. And like I said, practice makes perfect, I guess. Anyway, I just need to keep practicing the stars, and I sort of kind of getting the hang of it a little bit, but still having a little bit of trouble here. And I'm still using the straight line tool here to go ahead and get the look of the star, and that one looked pretty good, I thought, finally. So I kept on working and piddling with it a little bit and trying to fill it in. And like I said, it's good to have these on a separate layer, because then you can go back and erase and redo them again and just work on them till you think you finally got the right shape here. And you can go ahead and play around with your textures if you want to. You kind of want these to look smoothly, so I've just kind of left it a sort of a regular canvas texture for it. But these are going to be sort of either a mural painted on a wall, or some kind of a wallpaper, or maybe it's a mural that's been bolted onto a wall or something. So that might have a little bit of some wall texture, a little bit of some rough texture behind it, and that would make it kind of look like a wall in a kid's room. And then so here I'm just working on my last star, and I finally actually get the hang of it on my very last star. So that just tells me I kind of need to work on the stars, and after a while I'll probably get the hang of it again. So I zoomed out here just to see what they all look like, and they seem to look pretty good. So I was just working on the background a little bit, smudging in a mistake there. And what I want to do is make the strings go all the way off the edge of the canvas a little bit. And with the strings, it doesn't matter if they're perfect. In fact, you might want them to look a little bit curvy, just a little bit, maybe not exactly perfect, so that they look like maybe some yarn or something that is hanging from the ceiling. And there's sort of a bug. There was a bug in Infinite Painter that kept making a line appear across the canvas, and I think it's been fixed in the last updates for the beta. Now this is probably just in the beta version anyway, and that's what I use since I'm a beta tester. I use the beta version, so we work out all the bugs and things first before it's released to the public. And here I'm just kind of working on the shape of the moon. I want to smooth the edges out, and I'm using the Chanel pen brush sort of to kind of give it a smoother edge. And then I switch back to the Leo and just reduce the size of it, just trying to kind of get the moon to smooth out. And again, there's that line bug, but as long as it's on a separate layer, it's okay. You can go ahead and just cover it up, and it's just kind of like if you drop some paint on your canvas, you would smudge it out or whatever you have to do, wipe it off right quick. And here I'm just making little bows on the stars and the moon. I just want to make it look like somebody has tied little bows on the end of the stars, and that just kind of gives it a more cute look and home theater type of style look. And I'm making the string look not quite as straight, just a little bit more wiggly and curved, just to kind of give it more of like it's yarn or something. It's not quite as perfect looking. And then I wanted to go ahead and do the edge of the clouds here and just kind of outline them with a sort of a stylized looking design here. And I'm using a light blue color, and you can, if you're following along traditionally, you can use ultramarine blue with a touch of dioxazine purple, and probably use your script brush or your short script brush. We just kind of want some lines here. We do want it to look sort of outlined here because we're trying to get just a whimsical look to the clouds, sort of a, I guess, cartoony or something type of a look. to the clouds. We don't want them to look realistic. We want it to look like a little theater set. And then here I'm just kind of erasing the edges of the clouds and trying to correct the shapes a little bit, and that's why it's good for it to be on a separate layer. And again, it needs to be kind of on a separate layer from your purple background, but I didn't have that, so what I did was just used an airbrush and colored over it again. And then I'll just go back with my purple colors and use the Leo brush to kind of put the shape of the clouds back in. And I'm using the photo reference that I got on Pixabay to kind of make these cloud shapes. And we don't want them to look super realistic. We just want sort of a childlike representation of clouds. And then here I'm adding the edge again, just kind of making little swirls, giving it sort of a cartoonish look to the clouds, but not taking it too detailed or anything, not taking it too far. We just kind of want a little bit of whimsical look. And then here I want kind of a glow on them. So I'm using a light purple, and I'm using the Banksy brush in the airbrush category. And if you're following along traditionally, you can use a glaze type technique and smudge it out with a paper towel. And then here I'm using a light yellow color around the stars and the moon. I just want to get sort of a little glow around them to give it a little bit of a sparkly effect. So this is the end of part 3 of my toy sheep series. And in part 4, we're going to go ahead and work more on the sheep and work on the trunk. So if you want to see part 4, then hit that subscribe button. And thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you later.